Hello and welcome to Blue Army TV. I'm sitting after Carlisle have drawn 0-0 away from home at Bradford City. In what is, in the end, an okay point, I think. I might have bigged up the game a bit too much last week, saying it's a bit of a be-all and end-all sort of game, but a point in the end isn't dreadful. It sees us back into third, only on goal difference, mind, but we're up into third with Northampton to play. Gillingham next week. We've got Gillingham next week. We've still got Northampton and Leyton Orient to play, which are obviously big games, difficult games as well. But look, we've got a good game next week at Gillingham. I'm looking forward to that game because I think we've played so many of the top teams recently that it'll be nice to play a team that's sort of down there. That's not to say we'll win by any stretch of the imagination, but I think it's a game that we can go into with a bit more confidence. No disrespect to Gillingham, I think they're a good team. But look, we're in the automatics again. We're in the top three. And in part to that game, it was one of our best performances of late. You know, there was a good attack and play in the first half, especially in that midfield area with McCallum and Moxon and Guy. I think them three played particularly well. I just don't think we could get the final pass off. And look, Bradford might feel a bit hard done by coming out of that game as well, same as us, because look, we dominated the first half. We were so much better than them in the first half. But we didn't come out into that second half as good, and I think Bradford had some good chances. They hit the post off a deflection. But look, it's a game that we could have won on a different day. I want to blame the referee, but I don't think that would have had much of a difference, to be perfectly honest with you. It wasn't as, he had some moments with some fouls that maybe should have been given, but nowhere near as bad as the referee against Stevenage. But look, Bradford had some good moments, we had some good moments, and it just came down to that last second of the game. Jordan Gibson, what a piece of just poetry that would have been if he'd have scored. Imagine that goes in, or it comes off the inside of the post and goes in. Because Bradford fans absolutely hate Jordan Gibson, and look, he's kind of like their Harry McCurdy, and I'll always remember the pain I felt when Harry McCurdy came to Brunton Park and put free past us with Swindon. And it would have been a very similar thing for Bradford fans because they just don't like him. They booed every touch of the ball. I think he maybe came on a little bit too late in the game. But at the end of the day, that could have gone in. That's a few centimetres from hitting the inside of the post and going in, right in the 7th minute of the 6 added on. I always love saying that. But what could have been? That would have been a brilliant 3 points, but it just wasn't to be. We've had our share of last minute winners with Ryan Edmondson recently, so we'll let Bradford have this one. But yeah, it's in the end, Bradford are a very, very good team. They're drawn a fair few matches. I think that's going to be their downfall. They're not losing, but they're not winning enough games. Bradford at the minute, I think they've drawn 4 of their last 5. And look, we've drawn 2 in a row now, but it's against 2 very good teams. And I think if we can go on and win at Gillingham, maybe Northampton slip up, or maybe Stevenage slip up, and we can solidify ourselves in that top 3 a bit more. We're still right in there, and we're still in such a good position at this point in the season. But yeah, look, there's plenty of positives to take from that result. There's a few negatives as well. Obviously, with us not being able to score goals. That's 2 games in a row now where we haven't been able to score. But it's also 2 games in a row now where we haven't conceded a goal. One of the big talking points would be Paul Huntington being injured for the game. It's meant to not be too long term, only 7 to 10 days, Paul Simpson said. But it is certainly a worry. And Ben Barkley came in. That's not the replacement I would have made personally. I much prefer Corey Whelan. But at the end of the day, you've got to trust the manager's decision. And I think, especially with Corey Whelan being our player, by Ben Barkley's just on loan. And I think Corey Whelan's more proven coming in for a replacement for Paul Huntington, because at the start of the season, that's what happened, Corey Whelan came in to replace an injured Paul Huntington and did particularly well, and it took a while for him to be pushed out of the team again. There was times where he was starting ahead of Morgan Feeney, the captain, and he was wearing the captain armband until at times, Corey Whelan, and I think it was a bit harsh for him not to play today. But look, you've got to trust the manager's decision. At the end of the day, I don't think Ben Barkley played particularly well, to be honest. He was good in the first half and he had some shaky moments in the second. But he's made a defensive decision and we've kept a clean sheet, so you can't really criticise the manager too much there for that decision. I just hope Huntington's back soon. I hope it is 7 days instead of 10, whatever that means. I hope he's just back as fast as he can be. But yeah, decent point against a good team. it's just these last two games. I think if we'd have won one of our last two, would be, that would have been incredible. But you take 2 points, you take us continuing our unbeaten run, and if we go and beat Gillingham, which we probably should do if we're that serious about automatic promotion, it'll all look good. It'll all look fine. At the time I was a little bit disappointed, especially with the last minute chance. But looking back on it now, it's a decent point away from home at one of the best teams in the league, at one of the best grounds in the league as well. So yeah, thank you for watching. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and in a bit.